on WSTBR. Join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. You can also reach us on Facebook at Deplorable Rhetoric, on Instagram, Deplorable_Rhetoric, and on Twitter, We Rant, the number 2 rate.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to She's the Boss Radio Network, 24 hours, 7 days a week, focus on topics that build, strengthen, inspire, as well as motivate men, women, and youth from the home to the conference room and around our community. I'm Sigourney,
I'm Iran.
and we're Deplorable Rhetoric. If you want to call in, you can dial 443 or dial. You can,
You can
maybe think of an
dial.
old phone, but 443-272-5922. You can go on She's the Boss Radio and watch us live. You can also go to tunein.com or Shoutcast, tell Alexa or Siri to play She's the Boss Radio. You can also like She's the Boss Radio on Facebook, She's the Boss Radio on Twitter, WSTBRN on IG, and WSTBR on Twitch and Tumblr. Okay, so moving on to COVID, of course. There's been a few things I've seen about these new variants, but nothing really that seems detrimental. But last week, The Hill reported on why the latest rise in COVID cases is being treated differently. So of course, there's signs of COVID on the rise again with these different variants. You know, the ones we spoke about before, BA.2, the XE1, all these other ones. But Washington, D.C. has been hit with a string of high-profile cases, as we know, in Congress and the administration, and cases in the city overall are on the rise. New York and other areas in the Northeast are also seeing increases, with Philadelphia announcing on Monday that it will reinstate a requirement that people wear masks in indoor public spaces. But, all right, gotta move, Fauci. See the video. But there are important ways that any coming spike in COVID-19 cases fueled by a subvariant of Omicron known as BA.2 is likely to be less damaging than previous surges, experts say, and that may lead the nation to treat a new rise in cases differently. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm still not seeing people really wear masks.
Yeah.
And I'm one of them. Anyway, first, it is not clear how steep any spike will be. While there are now upticks in the Northeast, there are not yet signs of the massive spike that hit over the winter. That Omicron variant fueled spike already infected many people. Turn this down. Already infected many people, helping provide them some immunity against the current outbreak, in addition to the immunity provided by vaccines and booster shots. Second, people who are vaccinated and boosted still have strong protection against severe illness, even if it is possible they will get a milder infection. A new treatment, the Pfizer pill known as Paxlovid, cuts the risk of hospitalizations or death by 90% for people who do get infected. That combination of vaccines, booster shots, and treatments mean that even if cases rise, the hope is that hospitalizations and deaths will not rise by a sharp degree. So yeah, the White House is counting on booster shots and treatments to fight any new increase in the movement for the moment, rather than blunter tools like mask mandates or business closures. Yeah, I know everybody's trying to avoid all that.
Right.
So skipping down, fitting this new approach, the CDC at the end of February issued new guidance saying that people do not need to wear masks unless hospitalizations increase markedly, not just cases. And then it goes on for a while, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I have been seeing in the Baltimore County area. And not a lot of people. I mean, there definitely are some people still wearing masks, but you see, and this is somebody that I saw from MoveOn.org on Instagram, or from MoveOn. It was on Instagram. Burgit Megaba, registered nurse and MED. She says, make no mistake, choosing to live with COVID and removing all public health measures is just another way of saying we are ready to receive the next variant and to kill more vulnerable people. But my thing is, just because they say you don't have to wear a mask doesn't mean you can't wear it. You can still wear a mask and protect yourself, get your booster shots and all that stuff. So if people are choosing not to wear the mask, that's on them. If they get COVID, that's on them. And if they pass away, that's also on them, because they chose not to wear the mask. So I think that Bird, I don't know how, I guess it's Bridget. I don't know how she would pronounce that, but I think that I think her tweet was a little, or her Instagram post or whatever this is was a little excessive. But you know, if that's how she feels, that's how she feels. I think with each new thing, period, avian flu, whatever, that's the risk we all take as human beings, is that we can catch something and die. So,
Mm.
um, but some people don't want to wear the mask. I'm no doctor or anything in any of those fields that
Mm-hmm.
would make me an expert, but it does seem that things are lessening, even the variants lessen over time. So, not that people are safe. I'm definitely not saying that, but if people are choosing not to wear the mask, then hey.
I mean, you have American Airlines that's not making.
Yeah, so that, yeah, I was gonna mention that too.
Yeah,
But
American.
um, so like I had mentioned in the last article, Philly did go ahead and put in a mandate for indoor places. Um, and this was from the 11th. But yeah, Philly will reinstate on the 18th mask mandates indoors as COVID cases quickly rise. The city's public health commissioner, Dr. Cheryl Batigoli, announced Monday. The city is the first major U.S. metropolitan area to bring back masking requirements after a slew of cities and states dropped restrictions as cases began trending downward in January. And I think that's one thing I had read too, is that a lot of the peaks that we saw over the last 2 years were not quite hitting those peaks. I think overall, so I think that also gives some people, especially those that the powers that be to make decisions. I don't think we'll ever go back to shutting down, places or anything
I
like
don't
that. I
think
think
that's
we're
going to
past
happen.
that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessary personally, unless we have like a huge crazy spike like we did in 2020, or if the numbers look the same. But at this point, it doesn't look like we'll quite get there, and all I can do is keep my fingers crossed that it stays that way. Um, so yeah, this one here, yeah, the federal transport. So this is what Ron had started to talk about. This is 5 days ago from CNN. Mask mandate aboard planes, trains, and buses in the U.S. extended until May 3rd. So the federal transportation mask mandate is being extended for another 15 days, meaning individuals traveling aboard airplanes, trains, and on public transportation in the United States will be required to wear a mask until at least early. Oh, maybe I should click on this and open up the whole thing. Until early May. The mandate the federal government confirmed on Wednesday is now set to expire on May 3rd. The Associated Press was first to report the extension. The U.S. CDC announced Wednesday that it will keep its mask mandate in effect, and the Transportation Security Administration announced it was extending the mandate for another 15 days. CDC continues to monitor the spread of the Omicron COVID-19 variant, especially the BA.2 subvariant that now makes up more than 85% of U.S. cases, the TSA said in a statement. Since early April 2022, there have been increases in the 7-day moving average of COVID 19 cases in the United States. TSA will continue to coordinate closely with the CDC and communicate any changes to this requirement with the public. So, USA, yeah, USA. The United States is now averaging 38,345 new COVID cases per day, according to the data from Hopkins. Cases are trending up in more than half of states, including all but one state in the Northeast, Delaware, but the daily rate is still one of the lowest since mid June. So even though cases are rising, we're still managing to keep things down.
Yeah.
And boosters, I would think, are partly to help for that. Um, yeah.
I mean, I'm over the mask mandate, but I like being in control. If I want to wear it, I'll wear it. If I don't,
Oh, and this one. So,
so
in the other article, I had mentioned, along with the boosters, the pill. And so this was 4 days ago on CNN. FDA authorized the first COVID-19 breath test. So now they're getting into this. Um, but I don't. This is not obviously for the vaccine, but it's something new. So I guess instead of sticking something up your nose and scrambling your brains,
oh
they
my
can
god.
they can give you a breathalyzer. and you can figure out if you have COVID. So, the FDA has granted emergency use authorization to the first COVID-19 test that spots chemical compounds associated with the coronavirus in breath. The agency said Thursday. The FDA said, okay, the Inspector COVID-19 breathalyzer,
Hmm.
which is about the size of a piece of carry-on luggage, can be used in medical offices and mobilizing testing sites. It can give results in less than 3 minutes. The system separates and identifies chemical mixtures to detect 5 compounds associated with SARS-CoV-2 infection. A study of the inspector, and it's Inspect IR, so Inspector. That's why I was looking at it funny. I thought it was a typo, but I see that's not.
Mm-mm.
All right. So the inspector breathalyzer found that it accurately identified more than 91% of positive samples and nearly 100% of negative samples. Similar sensitivity was found in another study that focused on the Omicron coronavirus variant. However, positive results should be confirmed with the PCR test, the FDA said. It's another tool, and the FDA announcement suggests it's reasonably accurate and a relatively user-friendly tool, said Dr. Emily Volk, president of the College of American Pathologists. It waits to be seen how widely this will be adopted, Volk said. That could rely on how expensive it is, of course. Anything new that comes out in the US is automatically expensive.
Exactly.
And then we just wait for the bootleg version to come out and buy that. So, um,
Profit.
yeah, I just looked at that. So
That's the whole only thing America looks at is profit.
So, from the Deseret News, the fourth COVID vaccine shot protects against severe Omicron symptoms, this study says. The news. The fourth dose of the COVID-19 vaccine from Pfizer and BioNTech reportedly added protection against severe COVID-19 symptoms, hospitalizations, and death for at least 1 month in individuals, according to a study from patients in Israel. The vaccine's effectiveness lasted from 7 to 30 days after the shot was given, according to the study, which was published in the New England Journal of Medicine. The research compared medical records for 182,122 individuals aged 60 and older who got a fourth COVID-19 vaccine dose and 182,122 who got the third and not the fourth. What they found. The results of our real world study suggest that a fourth vaccine dose is, at least initially, effective against the Omicron variant. The researcher said additionally, follow up will allow further assessment of the protection provided by the fourth dose over time. So, what they're saying, there is a certain diminishing return by giving the same vaccine over and over. We have had enough evolution of this virus that it will make sense to want to try to cover some of the genetic diversity that has been introduced into the mix, said Dr. Peter Marks, director of the FDA Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research. So, and that went with what we talked about last time. The article I talked about last time with the older people, keep giving them these doses. It's decreasing over time. It's still protecting them. It's just not as long.
Right.
Pretty soon you're going to
Lasting.
give them the booster, and it's going to be 2 days. They'll
Yeah,
be
every
right
2
back
days,
at it.
let's get it in.
And they'll just keep diminishing till you get the shot, and you're going to get one 5 seconds later. So yeah, got to work that out somehow. Oh no, Oh, well, this one's from CNN, and it kind of goes into the federal judge overthrowing mask mandates sparked new worries for the Biden administration. This was 49 minutes ago from CNN. So, Biden administration officials found themselves straddling an uncomfortable line in their quest to end the COVID-19 pandemic Monday, celebrating a return to the near normalcy as they hosted scores of unmasked children for the White House Easter egg roll, and then watching one of their final lines of defense against the virus fall hours later when a federal judge of Florida struck down the federal mask mandate for airlines, trains, and mass transits. So, so you'll have to explain this part to me. So, how is it that a federal judge from Florida was able to strike it down? So any federal judge from any state can strike that something down.
This is the thing. The federal government, like the DC, the federal government makes a ruling. This is a suggestion. It's not law.
Right.
So they make a ruling, but each state governs itself.
Yeah.
So they make their own ruling within their own state.
Oh, so it's just for Florida, he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I was like, all right,
Because
gotcha.
BWI might enforce the mask mandate,
Yeah.
the TSA there.
Yeah.
At DC, they're going to enforce the mask
Right.
mandate. but other states have their own ruling.
Well, that makes sense, I guess, because Florida is crazy anyway. But at any note, we'll speak more about this when we come back from break.
This year, give the greatest Mother's Day gift ever. Compassion International presents a Mother's Day celebration. Erica Campbell, Donnie McClurkin, Tamala Mann, and Anthony Brown in group therapy. You thought I was worth saving. Saturday, May 7th at the Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena, formerly the UMBC Event Center. Tickets are on sale now. Get them online at Ticketmaster.com or the box office.
Hey, I'm Jenny James for Neatly Done Carpet Cleaner. You've probably been home a lot more. Maybe you have kids like me who spill all the time, and you've noticed that your carpet's not looking so good. Why don't you call Neatly Done Carpet Cleaner? They use a dry extraction service, so you won't have wet carpet all day long, and you can get back to doing the things you love with your family immediately. And it's a way to make your room healthier while improving your indoor air quality. You can do tile, slate, granite, ceramic, area rugs, and yes, they're pet friendly too. Why don't you get a free, no obligation estimate today? NeatlyDoneSanAntonio.com.
You could listen to one of those other stations, but what would your friends think? You could listen to one of those other stations, but what would your friends think? She's the boss. Radio Network.
All right, so to continue on, it was only last week that the CDC had extended the travel mask mandate through May 3rd, so administration officials could sort out their next move among conflicting signs about the trajectory of the virus. But several hours later, after U.S. District Judge Catherine Kimball Mizell ruled that the mandate was unlawful, I don't know how, an administration official told CNN's Caitlin Collins that the CDC's mask mandate was no longer being enforced, which the Transportation Security Administration confirmed later Monday.
But TSA, it's a federal agency, so I don't understand that in itself.
Girl, look.
They're funded by the federal government.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, each state is federal. It's funded by the federal government.
Right.
They give allowances to each one of the states.
You get $20.
And it's up to each state to allocate the money the way they see fit.
But Florida is just a hot
Retarded.
mess anyway. Like, nothing there makes
Their
sense.
governing body is retarded.
Yeah, it's like Texas. It makes no sense.
Any red state
So-
at this point, I'm just like over it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of most blue states, but red states, y'all.
Yeah.
You
Still
said
keep
hold
the
my
mandate.
beer.
And we still keep the mandate, I guess. So some woman said, I feel that it's pretty much up to the individual. If they don't feel safe, they should wear a mask. And if you feel comfortable traveling without a mask, you should have the freedom to do so. Said one woman who will continue to wear the mask mandate. I mean, she'll wear the mandate. She'll wear the mask on public transit.
But this is my thing. You're in a small, compact space.
Yeah, you would almost want to, because you don't know who has it.
Right. I'm going to want to wear a mask.
I mean, the
You're
only
lucky
thing-
I don't wear an oxygen mask.
The only thing more ridiculous that Florida can do at this point is to mandate, like, no masks.
But in Texas is also banning certain maths. So you know how, because they're worried that some of the math has critical race theory.
Oh, I thought you were saying mask. Yeah, I know.
Mask.
I
I'm
saw that
sorry.
the other day.
I put an S behind
Oh,
MATH.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that the other day, and I was just like, whatever.
So, I mean, that's how ridiculous
Yeah.
the governing body of Texas is. I mean, of Texas too, but Florida is.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
I know I have a lot of people in Florida. No, I'm not calling you guys special. I'm just calling your governing
Yeah,
body
right. That's what I'm
idiots.
saying.
That's what I'm doing. So
Um,
don't take offense.
So balancing culture. So that has left President Joe Biden and other Democrats in a tenuous position where they are still urging Americans to take the virus seriously, cognizant that another surge from a new variant could trigger a backlash against the party in power in November, but aware that Republicans will quickly weaponize any perceived retrenchment on COVID restrictions. The GOP has already hammered Democrats in some races for being too heavy-handed when it came to mask mandates. But again, it's not something that you have to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, when you say something's mandated, it kind of means that's mandatory. But this isn't exactly mandatory because they've had the mandates and people still have not worn
Yeah.
masks. So, again, you guys are sitting here making something out of nothing. But anyway, so the Democrats and some racists were being too heavy-handed when it came to mask mandates, limitations for businesses, and keeping children out of school during the height of the pandemic. That's just from parents who didn't want their kids home with them. They wanted them back in school. And in some cases have moved on to attacking Democrats for high gas prices, crime, and inflation, because all that has everything to do with COVID.
Yeah.
Anyway, not the war with Russia and Ukraine or whatever Saudi may be doing with oil or none of that. And crime, I don't know what that has to do with the masks. Maybe COVID, because COVID made a few people crazy, but anyway, people are gonna do what people are gonna do. That's all I can say. And this one I saw. So this one's saying that TSA won't be enforcing the mask mandate now that the judge
In Florida.
yeah. Well, yeah, they didn't put that in the title, but yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't understand, if you're a federal entity, why in the world won't you follow? The airport, of course, is the states. Do what you will with it. But TSA, it's a federal.
Yeah. I mean,
I
again, I
wish
think
we
some of
could
the
have said,
people-
"Nah, we ain't doing that."
right.
Like, really?
I think some people in government, like Green, don't know what they're doing or talking about or anything. DeSantis, he's another one.
He's a special something.
Yeah, they both are.
Rick
So,
Scott, all of them. I can start naming them.
So, well, yeah, we'll have a list next week. But yeah, out of St. Petersburg, Florida, CBS News. So because of Kimball Mazzell doing what she did, that means the CDC's public transportation masking order is not in effect at this time, and the TSA won't enforce the requirement. While federal agencies are reviewing the judge's decision, the administration office said. So the CDC still encourages masking on public transportation, of course. But the decision also said the CDC improperly failed. They improperly failed? Or they...
Giving yourself a headache.
The CDC improperly failed to just... I mean, I'm no math major, but... I mean, math. Okay. I'm no English major, but still, come on. I don't think that's
the way
right.
they write is just ridiculous.
Improperly failed? No, they successfully failed according to what you're trying to say.
Right.
They didn't improperly fail.
Yeah.
But anyway,
The way the wording is...
The way they wrote this is stupid. So, said the CDC improperly failed to justify its decision and did not follow proper rulemaking under the Administrative Procedure Act, which, okay.
Nobody's listening to Biden. He's shaking air. So,
I mean, yeah, clearly Florida's not listening because they do whatever they want. So the court concludes that the mask mandate exceeds the CDC's statutory authority and violates the procedures required for agency rulemaking under the APA, the judge wrote. Accordingly, the court vacates the mandate and remands it to the CDC.
I mean,
And
as
there you
much
go.
as we, we followed and we were waiting for CDC to tell us something during the pandemic, it's funny how now it's like, whatever, we're not listening to the CDC anymore.
I
And
mean,
that-
yeah.
If I want to actually see the numbers state by state, and I could bet you Florida's right up there.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean,
So I know
definitely.
they used to say, yeah, Florida's where you go to die. Well, it's literally that right now.
Right. It's not where you go to, retire and die. It's where you go to catch COVID and die.
I'm waiting for DeSantis,
DeSantis,
DeSantis to catch COVID. Didn't he already?
Probably.
But he didn't want to tell nobody.
Right. So, yeah, that's by county. So, I mean, yeah, of course,
MSN has it by state, by country, state, city, all of that.
yeah, I don't know what website.
I don't know what it is
I'm on
about
the
these
CDC
red
website.
states. I mean, your
go
constituents are
make it
dying
easier?
out, getting sick, having long COVID, residual,
Right.
health issues or whatever, and because you want to run for president eventually, you want to be this tough guy. I'm for my people. If they die out, oh
Yeah.
well. We're not creating more
So-
people.
right.
Like, kids are not being born in the same
Not
rate
like
as they
that.
were.
Yeah, exactly.
Gen X and boomers, we were popping out babies, but now,
So the 5.89 million total have been affected in Florida, 73,738 deaths in Florida to date. April 22nd, how this is? January 5th, 2022, pretty much in January is when they had their highest peak, it looks like, since last June. And that number was at 66,669. That was a 7-day average, but it said no new cases. But yeah, that's where they're at. Miami-Dade is 1.18 million of the almost 6 million. And then everybody else is in the thousands, hundreds of thousands. So Miami-Dade, I mean, that makes sense. Miami,
Mm-hmm.
you know, people down there trying to party, live it up.
Living La Vida Loca.
Well, living loca for sure. But, so we are going to get away from COVID, and we wanted to talk about city council and finances and stuff today, get into all that, because a lot of times when Moran and I are talking, we just don't understand where any of the money is going for the county too. But this is going to be more of a focus on the city. You know, I can't see that for the city.
Well, I'm sitting here looking at the budget proposal.
Oh, that I sent?
No, no, Baltimore Sun. Don't send me nothing with Baltimore Sun.
It wasn't Baltimore Sun.
It was.
No, not the article.
When I clicked on it, it gave me Baltimore Sun.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's where
it originated.
No, yeah, this was just BaltimoreCity.gov. It was not Baltimore Sun. That was just an article I sent. But the actual budget, the 2023 budget, is not.
Okay, where is
it? It was the BaltimoreCity.gov website. But anyway, so the Baltimore Sun did put out an article April 11th. So recently. It says Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott's proposed budget would increase police spending. That's what really, like, I was like, I gotta click on that. And civilian investigators, which again we did talk about. I think I don't know if we had a chance to, but I did see an article where Brandon Scott is trying to make some civilians investigators try to help out police because, for one, I guess people aren't applying. There's just a lack of people doing the job, and so. The crime has gone up, and of course, a lot of people will blame Marilyn Mosby, the district attorney, for that, but that's not on her. You know,
I don't understand how you can blame that on her.
Yeah,
she doesn't investigate these cases. She doesn't.
Right. She just
catch. She's a prosecutor. So how is it? How do you put 2 and 2 together and get 16?
Yeah, I mean, people have their ways. I mean, it's like a lot of things. If people just believe something strong enough, then it's stuck in their head, and that's just is what it is. So, and especially when you don't have all the facts, you know what I mean? You know, besides like what she may or may not have done with the lien in Florida and her house and whatever, as far as what her job entails, I don't hear a lot of complaints about it necessarily, except of course everybody yelling about a higher crime rate. But that I think that's mostly due to a lack of police. Not a lack of funding, not a lack of Mosby doing anything, just a lack of police. I don't know that there are, because I don't hardly see them. I don't see police like that. And that's my point.
The thing is, like, we talked about this one day. I called you in the middle of the night to tell you, like, there was a barrage of gunfire.
Right.
And usually you hear gunfire, you hear police, because the shot spotters.
Right.
Now I'm finding...
Is that the blue lights?
No. The blue lights are something else. Spot shotters. I never
knew what those were.
They basically put them in high crime area. And it's a camera.
Right. Oh, just a camera. Okay.
So my whole thing is we're finding out now that they stopped using the shot spotter. That's why I sat there like I couldn't go to sleep because, like I said, it was a barrage of shots.
Yeah.
It was on a Saturday night, and I'm waiting. Like, okay, I'm gonna hear sirens soon. Nothing.
Right.
And then Monday rolls around and my son finds out that one of his classmates was killed on Saturday.
Was it in that area?
Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, how are we going to get crime down when we have police officers that are sitting in parking lots of wherever having conversations and doing all of that? Chilling. Like, how is that okay?
Right. Yeah, and I don't get it, and I see them pulling people over and stuff, and I mean, do your job or whatever, but at the same time, what is happening with these people being killed. And it's crazy. If it's not a fire killing a child, it's some other innocent person being killed, or I guess drug or crime, not crime, drug or gang related or
Yeah.
something. But there's a lot happening in Baltimore, and it just seems to be going unnoticed. But at any rate, we have to go to break. We'll be right back.
Quote me, I was getting ready to say.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the boss. Radio Network.
Yeah, that's the sound of today's business community. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and only the strong survive. The challenge is navigating the ever-changing business environment to put your business in the forefront. So how does your business keep up with the changes? That's where She's the Boss Network comes in. She's the Boss Network is an internet media network that's been helping businesses like yours get the exposure that you're looking for at reasonable cost by way of radio and video. They'll help you stay successful by navigating change and seeing the big picture. After She's the Boss Network analyzes your business and marketing strategies, you'll start to see a media presence like you've never seen in your business before. And She's the Boss Network doesn't stop there. They use their findings to create a practical plan of action, a plan that will get your business from where you are to where you need to be. There you go. Lock those dogs up for good by giving She's the Boss Network a call at 866-494-5945, extension 101, or by checking their website at she'sthebossradio.com. Again, that's 866-494-5945, extension 101, or she'sthebossradio.com.
Beauty's in the eye. We complicate things when all along it's just perfect as it is. Beauty is from within. It's how you feel, not as how others see you. Skincare shouldn't be complicated. She's the Boss believes skincare should be nurturing, easy to use, smell delicious, feel refreshing, and look incredible. She's the Boss Cosmetics and Skincare brings you our botanical-based skincare line that's gentle, uncomplicated, and extremely effective for men, women, and youth. Feel confident and radiate a power glow that flows from the inside out. Exude an assurance that extends from the home into the conference room. Visit us at www.shes-the-boss.com or call us at 866-494-5945 to get yours today.
You could listen to one of those other stations, but what would your friends think? You could listen to one of those other stations, but what would your friends think? She's the boss. Radio Network.
Okay, so yeah, anyway, so Brandon Scott, Baltimore's mayor, he proposed a budget to increase a bunch of stuff, and we don't want to get too far into shot spotters and stuff, because that's what we were doing during the break, because we want to talk about the budget as a whole. But anyway, I'm just going to go through the article. Whatever comes up comes up. So Baltimore's police budget, and that's how it starts off, the first three words, would increase by $5 million under a proposal from Mayor Scott unveiled Monday that calls for using 35 civilian investigators for police work. And I really would love to see who these investigators are going to be. Is it people that went out for the police and failed? Is it CIs that y'all want to try? Like, who are y'all getting off the street to be these investigators? I need to know. Anyway,
It's going to be people that are not from the community.
Oh, yeah, probably. I wouldn't doubt that. So yeah, and adding other staff to assist with the anti-violence initiative. The $4 billion proposed spending plan, a small decrease in overall spending over the previous year, would hold the line on taxes despite increases to police spending and a $65 million increase in education spending mandated by the state. So wait a minute. Okay. So the $4 billion proposed spending plan, a small decrease, so we're decreasing the overall budget, but yet the police spending has increased. So we're taking money away from something.
Of course. And I'm looking at the actual budget.
Yeah.
And it's how many pages? It's 418.
100?
No, 418 pages broken down. Go ahead.
Okay. So while Moran picks out what's important there, um, yeah, that's homework for a month right there, trying to shift through that.
I'll get it done by the end of the day, but it's
Um,
just annoying as hell.
The 560.4 million proposed allocation for the police department calls for eliminating 30 vacant sworn officer positions in favor of civilians. Okay.
What the?
Yeah, they're vacant. I was gonna say they're empty anyway. Who would assist with investigations by tracking down leads and searching databases for information? You know, they're gonna go to universities and get these. What are they called? Political science or criminology people.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
Okay.
and searching databases for information related to cases, City Budget Director Bob Sanam said during a briefing for media. Additionally, 9 members would be added to the department to staff the city's group violence reduction strategy known as GVRS, which was deployed on a pilot basis in the Western District last year. The strategy, a partnership between the police department and the Office of State's Attorney, focuses resources on the people most likely to be victims of violence or perpetuate it. So that is as far as I guess policing and stuff. What is that?
Can I
Click on
just say
something.
one thing that I just realized? I
Uh-huh.
just noticed. I'm looking at the budget for the police department,
Mm-hmm.
and the salaries, wages for permanent full-time funded positions in the police department. Equal opportunity officer. Okay, there's no level to it. It's just EOO, and they were making $80,940 in 2021. Guess what the budget is for 2022?
Wait, sorry, what was the last year?
Last
said
year
eight.
was $80,940. What's the budget this year?
Probably 100.
Zero.
Is that one of the vacated?
Vacated positions.
So they're getting, I don't even know what a EOO off or
Equal
EO.
opportunity officer.
Yeah,
So
what's that supposed to be?
equal opportunity positions. Like if we tried to go for the police department.
Oh, thought it was equal opportunity and handing out ass whippings.
It would make sense, but no. But
Okay.
the salaries have gone up for some positions, down for others, and they've created an operations officer level 2 at $89,000. And my thing is this: you went from $0 last year to $89,236. Where did this $89,000 come from? Especially since
My tax money.
the city seems to be broke and can't fix roads, can't fix air conditioning and heating in schools.
Right, and then the next one is education funding, but keep going. So I can't wait to see that.
So I'm tripping off of this, and then grants and subsidies and contributions. This is for the budget for expenditures. It's $9,000 in fiscal year 2020. 2021 they increased it by 11,000, and then 2022 is at 22,000. But this is nothing compared to what grants and opportunities people can have with those grants.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we'll have to dig more into a lot of this stuff, but
if I could just get this downloaded.
so okay, so
But then my
why
laptop
they go-
is, this
Yeah,
budget
that's
is not even
There's
worth.
a lot to put on a
Nah, this budget is not even worth me actually hooking up my printer.
Okay, so I thought this went more into like different parts of the no, I'm talking about what I'm reading.
Oh, okay.
Different parts of the budget, but yeah, it said what it said about the policing, and then it talks about the first Kerwin education funding, and then it goes back to policing. So let's just get through this. The first Kerwin education funding, and from what I remember, I know it was
Kerwin?
a Kerwin committee. and
Yeah.
back when we had the podcast, we talked about it a lot, and they had proposed a number of things for schools, and Hogan was against some things and for some things, blah blah blah. But so as far as that's concerned, the fiscal year 2023 spending plan for the first time includes $65 million in additional funding for education mandated by legislation known as the Kerwin Bill, which reformed education spending across the state. Spending mandated by Kerwin will continue to grow annually, jumping to $77.2 million by fiscal year 2024 and to a projected $155.4 million by 2030. Well, hopefully those kids will have some great schools to be going to, because the ones they got now. The new EMS, which which I don't know what that stands for. Revenue proved crucial to the sending funding Kerwin reforms in their first year, Sanam said. Maryland is allowing local jurisdictions to start getting reimbursed for Medicaid patient and ambulance rides. Previously, reimbursements were provided for Medicare patients as well as patients with private insurance, but very little was received from Medicaid. The reimbursements are expected to increase revenue to Baltimore by $40 million annually. Additional money will flow into the city in fiscal year 2023 because it will be able to collect reimbursements retroactively for Medicaid patient ambulance rides in the current fiscal year. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to process
City council
this.
and gave themselves an increase. Oh, good job.
They
You
did.
always know how to give yourself increases.
Are expected to increase the revenue. So, how are these increases? What doesn't matter. Sanam said city finance officials work almost every day to prepare for future costs of Kerwin reforms. We think it's a significant accomplishment, so we're catching our breath. Sanam said of finding money for the first year's increase. Sanam said discussions with the mayor are ongoing and city agencies may be asked to further trim their budgets to pay for future Kerwin increases. With city agencies. But okay. So Baltimore's proposed budget, which still must be approved by the city council as well as the board of estimates, does not increase taxes, but will include an increase in the city's water rate. Scott announced in his state of the city address last week that he has proposed increases averaging 3.2% for each of the next 3 years.
He just gave himself an increase too.
So people don't want to keep paying for water, especially when y'all want to come by and just let hydrants flow.
Right?
So, but 3.2 every year, that could be a lot. I don't know the numbers, but shoot, like if I have a credit card, you have 3.2 interest rate. That's a lot. Baltimore's 2023 budget, proposed budget for the first time in several years, stems many of the losses to tourism revenue sustained during the pandemic. Tourism funding, which comes from parking fees, hotel taxes, and the city's convention center, which I know wasn't doing nothing, is expected to improve to 85%.
That's why we're paying for it.
Yeah, is expected to improve to 85% of pre-pandemic levels in fiscal year 2023, Sanam said. I feel like we've stabilized the situation this year, he said. Fiscal year 2021 was ugly in a lot of ways. In 2022, we were very cautious. Now the big one. What's behind the extra police spending? So, Scott campaigned on a promise to reform police spending and led the charge as city council president in 2020 to cut $22.4 million from the then mayor Bernard C. Jack Young's proposed budget. Mikey, listening, so most of it from the police department.
Mike.
Scott got $22.4 million cut from Jack Young's proposed budget, most of it from the police department. The council intended for the savings to be redirected to community enrichment efforts, but did not have the authority to add money to the budget. Young, a Democrat, refused to allocate the money, and it instead went into a surplus for the fiscal year 2022 budget. So he decreased it then and wants to increase it now. Okay.
And this is where I have a problem. This is where I have a problem. You made a promise.
Yeah.
You live in this community. You grew
Park
up,
Heights.
born and raised in this community. And you mean to tell me you made a promise and you're not following through?
First of all, what have we learned from watching police on TV? You don't make promises because they never keep them.
No. I'm talking about Brandon.
No, I know.
I'm
But
talking
my
about-
point is that you don't make promises because you don't know if you can keep it.
But see, again, we know that. We as civilians that know.
We've been let down enough.
How about that? My thing
We
is
know.
this. You don't think that you're going to be held accountable? The same things that you were doing in city council, you can't do as mayor. Although you
Right.
have a lot more power as mayor, at the end of the day, the city council has
Also
the
makes
purse.
decisions. The perks, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're holding on to that purse tight.
Oh, it has a purse. I thought you said perks.
No, the purse. Well, I mean, they just gave him a raise to what he's making $199,000 a year now.
They're all getting perks.
Hey,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Where's
It was a
my
little,
raise at?
it was a little $5,000 increase from what he was getting as city council president. Let me stop. Let me move
All right.
away
now.
from that. But he's gotten a raise. But my thing is this: that you lived in this community, you
deserve
know
it.
how this community. From what I see right now, I don't see a big change. Like, okay, he's done good.
Now when news break keeps telling me every 5 seconds that
piece of
someone's
shit.
been hit by a car and died, someone's been shot and died, been in a fire and died. There's a lot of stuff happening in Baltimore.
Right, but there's preventative
business.
measures that can be put in place, but you're putting it in place in the wrong places.
Right. You
And
gotta
then-
keep up appearances. You know, you
Yeah,
gotta make
and that's the
good
thing.
places
So
look better.
where's the money going? If you said on
Not to where it
paper, if
needs
it's
to go.
documented, and you're saying we're going to have cameras in Penn North, we're
Right.
going to have it down North Avenue and Gay,
Yeah.
or on Gay Street over there by the cemetery,
Yeah.
Monroe Street, Acre Street. If you're going to say all this and specifically document,
Sorry, we gotta go to break. Hate to cut you off. We'll be right back.
She's the boss. Radio Network.
She's the Boss Enterprises, in collaboration with Get It In Island Cuisine 2, presents WSTBRN. She's the Boss Radio's second Thursday's networking mixer. Every second Thursday of the month, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., we will be highlighting a business once a month, radio opportunities, advertising, conversations, great food and drinks. So come on out and enjoy $3 rum punches, $5 Tito's vodka, and $7 catfish platters. For more information on this event and others, follow us on all our social media pages. Facebook, we are She's the Boss Radio. Twitter, we are She's the Boss Radio without the O. IG, Twitch, and Tumblr, we are WSTBRN. Or go out to www.she'sthebossradio.com. We make radio first so that your vision will be heard. If you would like to shine a light on your business during Second Thursdays, please email us at info@she'sthebossradio.com using the hashtag in the subject line, shine a light on it.
Hey everybody, it's the Midday Diva, Dorisa Harvey, and we're planning on having a great time at the upcoming Mother's Day Gospel Extravaganza. You don't want to miss this great celebration at the Chesapeake Employees Insurance Arena, formerly the UMBC Event Center. This will take place 7 p.m. For ticket information, go to Ticketmaster.com. Featuring on this awesome concert, Erica Campbell, Donnie McClurkin, Tamla Mann, and Anthony Brown and Group Therapy. Don't forget that Saturday, May 7th, 7 p.m. Make your plans to attend. Go get your tickets right now at Ticketmaster.com. Sponsored by Compassion International.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the boss. Radio Network.
All right, y'all, we're back. So, Miran, do you remember what you
oh
were
shoot,
saying?
hold on, what's that saying?
Girl, don't ask me. I don't know.
And that's as far as I've always been taught that if something is documented, that's all the proof you need. If it's documented, it happened. So if these people are putting on paper that we're going to do X, Y, and Z, we as citizens, as taxpayers of this city, need to hold them accountable. And the way you hold them accountable is if you can attend meetings, attend meetings. If you can ask direct questions, ask direct questions. But the best way is elections. Please don't vote for a city council president in Washington who's been there 40 years. Just because of his name recognition, you're scared to vote for somebody new because you don't know how they are. But then the person that you've had there for 40 years ain't done jack.
Right.
There's still rat-infested houses right next door to you. They haven't done anything.
Yeah.
So if they are not proactive and trying to make your life a little bit easier
Right.
and you know what I'm saying, safer for you, then why are you voting for them? It's business as usual. That's like me pulling your hair. You're sitting next to me, I'm pulling your hair. You don't stop me, and I'm
every day I sit next to you and you keep pulling my hair.
Yeah, and you don't stop me. That's a learned behavior.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing.
It just annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah, it's amazing that people will be upset about what's happening, but they don't. I think sometimes they just don't correlate it to the fact that, oh wait, it's happened because these people that we voted in made these decisions. positions. So maybe if we voted in better people. But anyway, so last year Scott's first budget as mayor was approved with a $28 million increase. So after he chopped off 22.4 million, he then increased it for 28 million in police spending over vocal objections from activists and residents. Wow, activists? Which activists? Okay. During 2 forums for taxpayers, dozens of people unsuccessfully pushed Scott and city council members to instead spend more on programs to prevent and respond to potential criminal activity, with some calling to defund the police. So
we
that's
never
what
agreed.
he should have been focused on.
Right. We'd never said we weren't for the defund the police. We were for the reform the police.
Right.
Which means taking money away from them.
Well, and that's what to me, defund and reform are the same thing, because abolishing it is what a lot of like BLM activists were going for. I'm not chasing after nobody, so you better have police, because if not, you think Baltimore's crime is high now. Just wait. So defund, reform, whatever, those are the same things to me. But I use the word reform because it's much easier for people to comprehend that. Mm-hmm. But my thing is, like, these people, it says during 2 forums for taxpayers, dozens of people really tried to get Scott and council members to instead spend more money on preventing stuff and responding to potential crime, and they were unsuccessful. But you want to put the money in cops' pockets, raising their salaries from 55 to 60, which I've said before, fine, you want to raise, but it should be spread all around. Like other, professions should be get raises too. But my point is that, whatever, raise their salaries, but you still need to invest in programs. Like we've talked about the city community centers and stuff like that. Like where are all those type of things?
Programs? Where are the PAL programs?
Yeah. So
where kids felt comfortable to talk to a police officer because they were part of the PAL program.
Right.
You
and
go
they got
in
to
there.
know you.
Yeah, they take you on trips. They do stuff with you, because all these kids that are out here, there's a lot of kids that are out here. 9 times out of 10, they don't want to go home because there's abuse, there's neglect, and all of that. And they find a family out, maybe in the wrong way, in the wrong circumstances. But they find these people that have their backs for the moment. So they go to jail.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I don't know.
Who this? New phone.
Yeah,
New
right.
phone, who this?
Right. So
exactly.
it's things like that. So if we can prevent it, open these daggone rec centers, bring back the PAL programs, do something to help these kids. So that budget, that $500 million that you're giving to Baltimore City Police Department, whatever.
Right.
And then you're asking for civilians to come and risk their lives to investigate cases that they know who did it, but they ain't gonna say nothing.
Right.
You're not going to bring the people from the city.
Bringing in the same people that probably wouldn't call if they saw someone being
yeah,
mugged on
and the
street,
thing is that you're going to bring people that are not actually from the city, that are not from these communities that are being assaulted.
Yeah.
If we can fix it, if we can step back and be like, okay, listen, Gen X was the best. We know how to problem solve. Can we get to it now? Brandon Youngtail need to sit down and stop.
I wouldn't say just Gen X.
Yeah, millennials, I don't know. Y'all drove me nuts, so no.
I'm fine. I'm on the older end. I'm not one of these younger millennials.
I'm talking about them younger millennials. I can't even say their names because they're disgusting. My son is one of them.
The increase in the police budget in the 2023 proposal would be driven in part by increasing cost of health benefit. It's weird that this article really only talks about, it's in the title. It does say increase in police spending and civilian investigators, but I thought it would go into other stuff too. But anyway,
talking about this got me looking at wine stores right now.
Oh God. So the increase, the increase in the budget would be driven in part by increasing costs of health benefits, workers' compensation, and inflation. That accounts for about $1.9 million of the increase. An additional $2.2 million would be needed to pay for a new contract agreed upon with the Federal Order of Police, which raises starting salaries for new officers from $55,000 to $60,000 a year, making Baltimore the highest paid major law enforcement agency in the state for new recruits. Operational cuts of more than $8 million will defray most of the costs of the new contract announced last year. Those cuts include a plan to have officers assigned to non-patrol work cover some patrol shifts, Sanam said.
Can I just say something? Have these police officers park their cars somewhere and walk the beat. Where's that? Make them walk the beat.
Say 1940.
Nah, I want them to walk the beat just so they can know the community that they're serving. Sitting in your car, you're on your phone.
I mean, I don't know if a lot of them feel safe or comfortable doing that.
Then
because
if
they
you,
don't
as a
know.
police officer, carrying a gun and having tons of weapons in your cruiser,
Yeah,
don't
we
feel
don't want them to
comfortable.
use any
Yeah,
of
we don't
those.
want them to use. You don't feel comfortable in certain areas. How do you think these citizens are feeling?
I mean, scared all the way around because we also have citizens that are running around with ghost guns, killing people. So,
Oh my hand.
and robbing, like Edmondson Village, I think, or no, West, was it West something shopping center over there? They just keep getting robbed. I mean, it's hard all the way around. I mean, again, we need cops, and it would be a good idea if they walked around.
I wholeheartedly
used
agree.
to see some occasionally do it, but I don't really. Like I said, I don't really see cops. I don't see cop cars. If I do it, no one's in it. So I'm like,
I hear dirt bikes, and then I'll hear a police officer. Oops, they're going the wrong direction.
There you go.
Like what was it? Sunday, my son Larry and Amaya were with me, and of course, I'm looking for my wine. We go down Ricestown Road, and Druid Hill. There were a bunch of kids with dirt bikes, the whatever the mopeds are, whatever. It's a whole heap of them. There's a police officer like parked right there at the gas station with the lights on and everything. Nothing. These kids are on the street nearly getting hit. People driving towards Druid Hill Park Drive or whatever it's called. They nearly get hit, and this police officer just sitting in his cruiser on his phone, not doing a goddamn thing. So you'd rather scrape a child off the street than prevent him from being scraped off the street.
I mean, it's hard because how is he going to prevent them? The person on the bike's just going to run away anyway, and they can't chase them.
I understand that. I can't tell because some cops will chase.
Well, true, but they're not supposed to, right?
They're not
like
supposed
a new
to.
thing a
Yeah.
few years back?
The guy drove all the way from the county to the city and flipped in front of City Hall and killed innocent people by our office on Lexington Street.
Oh, I thought it was because they were chasing somebody and ended up killing him because they hit him or something.
Not only killing him, they killed a citizen that was walking.
Oh, okay.
So they're not supposed to chase.
Yeah.
Stay on the highway. Don't come in the city.
Right. So the operational cuts of more than $8 million. That's part I'm still trying to understand. But anyway, so they want to get officers assigned to non-patrol work to cover some patrol shifts. I guess that's supposed to save $8 million somehow. An additional $2.8 million in the police budget would pay for what Sanam called enhancements, including the new civilian and GVRS positions and work to be done at the Central District building on North Calvert. Baltimore has achieved a grim mark of 300 or more homicides, and 2022 is looking no different. The police department has been working to hire more civilians to help address the effects of officer shortages. There are 2,274 sworn officers and 519 civilian employees, the police officer said. That's below the budgeted 2,640 sworn officers and 615 civilian positions. According to the department, 70 sworn officers have left the department while 26 were hired this year through March. The department is required to adequately staff patrol, investigations, and internal affairs positions as part of an ongoing federal consent decree reached in 2017. I mean, shouldn't every department adequately staff? Like, why is that in a consent decree? I don't understand. Anyway, hiring civilians for administrative duties and other functions will free up more officers for police work. And I would like to see where you guys are adding in clinicians and therapists and stuff to help, but whatever.
But actually, we saw an ad and something came in my email for inspirations, came in there requesting that somebody apply for this position, this phantom position. They had a police department for clinicians.
They need to put stuff like that into the budget so
they
we
weren't
are aware.
they weren't really trying to.
No.
They have counselors for the police, which they're not utilized.
Yeah.
Because these psychopath police officers are in there. They done killed 3 people, faked, entrapped these kids, put them in jail, lied in the affidavit and the police report, which is a crime.
Yeah.
It's not a misdemeanor, it's a felony. And they've just been going, look at the GTT. Let me stop.
So, free up police, particularly patrol, which has had the highest vacancy rate in the department. A staffing study completed early in the consent decree found Baltimore had a much lower rate of civilian staff compared with other agencies across the country. So, in the past, the department has relied increasingly on spending on which soared. What? I don't think a comma
We
is supposed to be there.
spoke about
Yeah, on which soared to nearly 50 million in recent years. Police Commissioner Michael Harrison has put in place measures to rein in costs. Police overtime is projected at 34 million for this fiscal year. And then Ray C. Kelly, director of the Citizens Policing Project, which advocates for increased civilian oversight of police, called the 2023 budget proposal pretty much more of the same. We just accept their narrative that the police are the solution to all our problems and we need to give them more, he said in an interview Monday. I'm not surprised, a little disappointed in our administration, Kelly added. We have heard our mayor say we can't arrest our way out of this.
You can't arrest yourselves first.
Yeah,
for all the criminalities within the police department.
But
Let's
on
do
that
that
note, we have to shut it down. It's 11, so sorry, we got to cut it short. But, you know, it is a Baltimore Sun article. Came out not that long ago. You can look it up and read it yourselves. But at any rate, we are She's the Boss Radio Network. You can find us on Facebook at She's the Boss Radio. She's the Boss Radio on Twitter, WSTBRN on IG, and WSTBR on Twitch and Tumblr. Me and Moran are Deplorable Rhetoric, and you can find us on Facebook at Deplorable Rhetoric, Instagram at Deplorable_Rhetoric, and on Twitter at @ReRant2Rave. Talk to y'all next week.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the boss.